One face near left edge. Center.
Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum. This is Emin Masood and welcome to my channel, That Blind Girl. Today's video will be in the That Blind Girl Talks About the Law playlist. I'm really glad to be back with you guys. I've been out for a long time, more than a week, I think. If
One face center.
you somehow happen to watch this video as your first video and you want to know more about me, definitely check out my That Blind Girl Gives Her Intro playlist that's also on this channel. I'm done with the intro videos, so that playlist is complete. So anyone who wants to get a picture of who I am and how I got here, definitely check that out. Moving on to today's video, I want to address a general area of questions that people ask me when they find out that I'm a law school graduate. And that area of question is basically, will I go to jail if? And then it's usually, will I go to jail if I do a certain action, or if I say a certain word, or if I think a certain thought. And so basically, I will try to briefly give you some knowledge that I have gotten from law school and from my reading. So those of you who aren't as familiar with the law can have a little bit of an idea. So that question basically concerns an area of law we call criminal law and also criminal procedure. And a few things that this question involves, a few, I guess I would call them unconscious like conclusions that we jump to. First, kind of not just conclusions, but also unconscious feelings. So first of all and foremost, I sense this sort of fear of the criminal justice system in that question, right? We're not, a lot of times the question isn't, can someone sue me for XYZ? It's, will I go to jail for XYZ? And so the fear that's there, obviously, that comes from history and also from the present, from our experiences from people's experiences, either our experiences or our friends or our acquaintances' experiences with law enforcement, either in this country, the US, or in some other country like my country of origin, which is Pakistan, or some other country really. This fear of the criminal justice system and of criminal law. That's one thing that I sense when I hear that question. The other thing that I sense is, will I go to jail, kind of shows a sort of decisive, kind of conclusory question. Like, it basically implies, if the government charges me, I will definitely go to jail. That type, like, basically this notion that if charges are brought against someone, that person is very likely to go to jail, or not just very likely, but will definitely go to jail. So that's the that's the kind of perception that I've gotten from questions like that. Of course, you might have picked up some different perceptions from this type of questioning, but this is something that I kind of gathered. So basically, what I want to talk about is kind of this
One face center.
first and foremost, that the question that will I go to jail if I think this thought or that thought, generally, if the thought isn't public, no one knows about it, and people don't go to jail for thinking things, generally.
One face center.
And so I'm gonna be very careful in what I say, or at least I'm gonna try. But so that's one thing that now if thoughts are obviously persistently negative, then I personally encourage seeking some help for that. But usually
One face center.
people don't go to jail for thinking thoughts. Now, saying certain things, most things that people say are not criminal. Threats have a different, there's some aspects, of course. Saying things, though, has a constitutional law aspect that I plan to go over in another video. But to sort of give you a general idea, and this is a very common question that I've gotten in my faith community, in the Muslim community, if I am vocal about, or if I verbally oppose some action of the government, will I go to jail? Usually the answer to that question is no. There are certain circumstances, and this is why I encourage seeking guidance from a licensed attorney. But usually, criticizing or opposing a policy of the government is not criminal. It is an exercise of free speech. And so it's permissible. It's allowed. Now, for example, if, say, I make fun of President Biden, that's not a very nice, that might not be a very nice thing to do, especially because President Biden has never made fun of me, but it's not illegal. It wouldn't be illegal for me to do that. Honestly, though, I don't make fun of people, President Biden or anyone else. But just to give you a little bit of an example and keep this on the lighter side. The final thing is actions. If I do this or that, do I go to jail? So actions really depend on what the action is. And how long it's been going on for, and in the background, and a lot depends. In order to be charged and to end up in jail, the action has to be pretty serious. So basically, if I step on someone's foot and walk away and it's a one-off, and I don't apologize, but it's a one-off, then chances are I'm probably not in trouble with the criminal justice system. I'm probably not going to be charged, probably not going to go to jail. If I know that someone's foot has a problem, has some condition that if I step on it, I continually do that for months and months, just so that person could be in pain, that
One face
would
entered.
get me into trouble. So it really depends on the action. Finally, this idea of going to jail. So in order to have the court, have the jury, and in order for first of all, a lot of criminal trials, most criminal trials are jury trials. So in order for the jury to find a person guilty, the government has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the person that's accused of the crime is guilty, has committed that crime. Beyond a reasonable doubt, we learn in law school, is it's not 100% certainty, but it's this idea that the jury cannot have any sort of reasonable doubt, meaning, they could have someone could have some doubt, but that doubt wouldn't be reasonable about the person's, guilt or innocence. So if the jury finds that there is some reasonable doubt, then the person is not guilty and the person walks. And so this beyond a reasonable doubt is a pretty big burden of proof that the government has. And so it's usually not very easy for a person to end up in jail. Now, historically, and sometimes even today, juries unconsciously or subconsciously, because they're human, they end up taking shortcuts by looking at the defendant. Historically, especially, if a defendant belonged to a certain racial or ethnic group or to a certain religious group, there could be people would take a shortcut and believe that there is, a mental shortcut, and believe that there is, that the person is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But slowly things are changing. Are they completely perfect? No. But and today's video isn't to encourage people to commit crimes, but just so some of the anxiety that's there can be lowered. If you have any specific questions, any specific legal questions you need answered, consult a licensed attorney. I'm not a licensed attorney. If you want me to go into depth about a certain topic that I covered today, definitely let me know in the comments. If you liked today's video, feel free to like and share it, and subscribe to this channel for more videos. Thank you. And also one thing, for my law school friends who might view this, if I got something wrong, feel free to correct my mistake. Thank you.
Take picture. Stop recording video.